Okay, so hi, I'm Michael Joy. Welcome back to Absolute Joy. This is a long short story continuation of my Navy SEAL / Soldier of Fortune / weaponizing anything in our proximity as a child storyboard section episode. Arizona. It was hot. The heat made us crazy. We didn't know what to do. But this one time, we used our motorcycles. And I'm going to tell you, a couple times I almost died on those motorcycles. Okay, so in Arizona, we grew up in a place called Paradise Valley. Oh, it sounds so rich. It was near Scottsdale, and at the time, it was very underdeveloped. And so there were houses that had big lots in the middle of the desert, and then there were other big lots that were just straight up desert. Everything was kind of fenced with these barbed wire fences or things, and you weren't really supposed to go on other people's properties, but there were roads through them, there were horse trails through them. It was the West, man. After years and years of pleading with my father to get a motorcycle, he got me a go-kart. That's a sad second place, but I was so excited. Had a little 3.5 horsepower lawnmower engine on the back, and we used to play this game where the person would drive the golf cart, and then the motor was to the left on the rear wheel, one chain axle power. And then as a little kid, we'd hang in next to the engine to the back, and then the person would try to drive you until they shook you off the back like a tick, and you would either roll off onto the engine and get burned on the exhaust, or you would roll off onto into the dirt and get valley fever. But the thing is that was our game. And it was great until my brother drove into a telephone pole. Chris, you never could drive any of my equipment. Seriously. You were a big brother. Where was your guidance? You crashed it. My gas pedal was ruined. Years after that, I was like, Dad, go-kart, I got it. I need an ATC. Now, ATCs were popular before they were made illegal. And they're basically a quad runner, but they have 3 wheels, not 4. And the 3-wheelers were considered too unstable. And there were lots of, and then my dad was a doctor, right? I mean, he should have known better, but I was happy. That was one of the times I got it for Christmas, and he parked it in the front yard. He bought a used one. I remember physically jumping up and down. I was so excited. There's probably a picture of it. So I had this ATC. It was like a Honda 110, not a lot of power, but it was a good starter. And it had these big balloon tires, and that was the suspension. So the suspension basically worked while you basically bounced. And so if you jumped on something, you would bounce. And if you held on tight, you were still on the motorcycle. But a lot of people got thrown off. And then if you turned, you used to have to slide it, turn. Otherwise, it just tipped over. So the injuries that were commonly sustained by this vehicle were either because you had these foot pegs right in front of 2 rear wheels. And so if your foot slipped off the foot peg, it would slurp you under the back wheel and yank you right off the... Yeah, it was cute. And the other is the rollovers. I let my friend Colin, you never paid me for that bent fork, you son of a gun. He rolled my ATC. He ended up going over some washboards, which was common in the desert. We're watching him drive, and I'm like, he's gonna crash my bike, and all of a sudden this big cloud of dust. And he stood up like nothing happened. They're like, what happened, Colin? Nothing happened. He turns around, there's a tire track up his back. Oh, you son of a bitch. So he bent the forks on my thing, and we had to push it home. I was so pissed. That took for weeks. It was like $200 to fix, and he never fixed it. And my dad's like, you work it out with Colin. And I'm like, I think you need to call his dad. But basically, we had this, I don't know what they call it in the military. It's like a battlefield, a practice battlefield. And we had this big lot. It must have been like 30 acres, this lot that was owned by somebody that was never there. And we used to do stuff out there. We had our dirt bikes. We used to dig underground forts. Don't dig an underground fort in the desert. Seriously, snakes love them. You dig the hole, you cover it, you're good. You come back, it's someone else's home. It's good for a day. A lot of work to introduce yourself to a snake. These big lots had a lot of illegal dumping. And basically, they would have dump trucks. You know what? Maybe it wasn't illegal dumping. Maybe they were just trying to block the road. Keep us motorcycle kids out, because we would ride all around town, and sometimes we'd wear helmets and sometimes we wouldn't. And we thought, if you get chased by the police, you try to just go behind someone's yard and stuff. But the police didn't really care, whatever. But this one time, I was with my brother, the guy who crashes things, and there was a couple other people in the field. And what happened was as the road went in, there's about 50 yards, and then there was what was where a dump truck dumped dirt that was about 4 feet high or something like that. And it was a well-rounded bike jump for dirt bikes. My brother's on the thing, and he's like, I'm gonna hit it. And I'm like, hit what? He's like, that. And I'm like, I'm like, clearly you don't ride this enough because we're going to die. You know, either we're going to hit it straight like this and the whole bike's going to collapse, or we're going to jump and we're both going to fly off. And there was like 3 or 4 people around there. My brother like needed approval. I don't know what it was, but he's hitting it. He's like, all right, he's in 4th gear, full speed on this ATC. And we hit that ramp, and I remember my neck went when we hit the ramp, and then all of a sudden we're in the air. And I'm like, what is happening? And my brother, I could see him from the back and I could see him from the front. He's like a dog out there with his head out the window with his ears flying. He had big ears, and we were in the air. We were in the air. And I grabbed the back wheelie bar, and I have my brother by the shirt like this, and we're in the air. And I look, and I'm like, oh my God, we're going to flip over. 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 And I look down, and I see these grown-up kids like this. I'm like, oh, we're more than 10 feet off and that's a lot for an ATC because I know how they land. In dirt bike suspension, you absorb and you're cool. This is like, you're a ricochet biscuit. And I'm like, oh my God, we're physically like this. We're like this. And I'm going, we're going to die. We're going to die. We're going to die. We're going to die. And that bike landed the smoothest it's ever been on the other side. And all the other guys were like, I don't know if they had something in their mouth, but everybody spit. Like, that's what kids did. They're like, you almost died. And my brother's like, that was amazing. I'm like, get the fuck off my bike. You're walking home. I'm like, come on, man. You almost killed us. He's like, yeah, it was good. I wonder if he even remembers that. He was on Ritalin, so we don't know.
If you understood that you both could get killed, why did you do it?
I was not driving.
Exactly.
I could not get off. He was in 4th gear. And to do the math. The motorcycle math is you cannot jump off a moving bike. You're committed. How do you jump off? Those bikes are wide. There's not anywhere that I can put my feet to push off. You know, what do I do? A kung fu judo roll off the back at 30 miles?
So there was no decision-making time. You just came in and straight into that?
I thought he was going to go next to the hill. We got close to the hill. He's like, I want to hit it.
Oh.
I'm like, no. So thank you for watching. This has been Michael John, Absolute Joy in Absolute Arizona with absolute thoughtlessness. But that's how we grew up.